I want to thank everyone for taking the time out today to go through this with me. I'm going to try to keep it as brief as I possibly can. I'm doing this one solo today, so please feel free to ask questions. Just type them in the little questions box there in your GoToWebinar control panel, and I will see them, and I promise I will answer all of the questions at the end. For those of you who were not on the first webinar with the all-in-one solution, what we were talked about, just a quick overview, was having the ability to have one central database and have that database being what controls pretty much everything in your firm, where your case management would hit that database, your financials program would hit that same database, your calendaring, and just making it, so much easier and so much less chaotic for you in your daily work, which in turn, will improve employee morale as well as employee productivity. Today we're going to expand on that a little bit, and we're going to talk about the subsidiary programs that come along with an all-in-one solution. As I mentioned, having an all-in-one solution is going to assist in increasing your firm's productivity and efficiency because your users are not having to double enter their work. They could just do it all in one. It doesn't matter what you practice or what you do at the firm, you'll definitely benefit from an automated software solution. When we talk about automation, we're talking about document assembly, we're talking about automatic workflow, automatic scanning to a case directly into your case management system, and all kinds of other things go into that. Today's webinar is hosted by Perfect Practice, and our motto here is to enter the data once, meaning reuse as much of that repetitive data as you possibly can. I am your host, Christy O'Berry, and you could reach me at 888-843-8992 or via email, at marketing@perfectpractice.com. And I encourage you to visit our website to see, what we've got moving and shaking and changing on a daily basis around here. Is this what your desktop looks like? You've got all these different moving pieces and parts, and we've got our coffee cup, and we've got our iPads, and we've got our computers, and all of these things just moving around on a day-to-day basis. This is what we call chaos, and that is what I'm here today to help you solve, is that chaos problem that a lot of you have out there. When I look at my desktop at home, this is what it looks like. I've just got too many things going on, and I'm trying to use different programs to do a lot of the same things. And what I would really like to have at home is one thing that just kind of did everything for me. And we definitely need that in our day-to-day at work. One program, one solution, one database, much, much less to manage and to overcome. Having accounting in one application, your case management in another, payroll yet in another, scheduling in another, your CRM system is yet another system. There's really no need for that. There are software solutions such as Perfect Practice and others that offer you a single solution. And that's something that I encourage everyone to look into. Paper everywhere. We have paper everywhere. One of the things that many of our clients, and I'm sure some of you out there too that aren't clients, want to do is be paperless. One of the ways to be paperless is to have integration between your scanners and your case management system or your financials program, either one. Very important. Why? Because it saves me time. If I can scan a document to a central repository on my system and have a program pick it up and put it where it needs to go, that just saved the user 5 or 6 clicks and probably 3 to 4 minutes of their time. Stop and think about how many documents you're moving on a daily basis from one location to another. If you're having to do that more than once a day, having a paperless system, something that can scan it and move it, would definitely benefit your office. Benefits of an all-in-one software solution, as I've been speaking about for the last few minutes, you've got productivity, efficiency, those are the two biggest reasons to automate. No point in doing things manually when the software system in our computers and technology has brought us this far into, today's world. You'll save time, you'll save money, increase productivity and efficiency. Entering data once to manage your firm's activities is going to build into that efficiency and that productivity increase that I guarantee you once you move in to an all-in-one solution. Now, we all know that moving into an all-in-one solution isn't necessarily easy. We're talking about data conversions and different things to get us set up into that. But, we got to take baby steps and build building blocks before we have an actual building. And sometimes we need to reevaluate what we have and see where we can go with our future. Now, what I'm going to do now is we're going to leave the PowerPoint presentation and we're going to jump into a demonstration of some of the things that you can do with an all-in-one solution. This is my case management system here that you see on my screen, and it is in a web browser. I can also have it on a rich client, as what we call a rich client, which is just a program that lives on our computer if I don't want to use a web browser. On top of that, I have a financials program. The financials program does communicate with my case management system. I have a calendaring program on top of that that also communicates with my case management system. I can take it a step further, and if I'm in a plaintiff law firm and I need to do settlements, I have a settlement module. So I have all of these different programs available to me, but they only talk to one database. So I'm not having to share data. I'm not having to export and import data. I'm not having to double enter data. I have it all hitting one central database. Now, what does that mean to you as an end user? Well, as an end user, if I'm working a file and having an information such as liens, letters of protections on a plaintiff file, I'm already entering in, this information so that I can keep track of it for when I go to do my manual settlement statement. Well, no one wants to do manual settlement statements if I don't have to, right? But when I have a disjointed system, I have to do them manually. Well, in this particular instance, I have entered in all of my liens and letters of protection on my case. I've got my cost entered in on my file. You see the cost here. All of it's here. So when I go into the settlement statement or the settlement module and I come in and I tell the system that I am ready to settle this particular case, I'm going to go in and I'm going to tell the system what I want or what my settlement is going to be on my particular case. Okay? Looking for my little settled checkbox here. There we go. Take this off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the amount of our settlement. We've got a settlement in the amount of $650,000. You can see here that it's automatically bringing in the preset attorney's fee. I can override this if I choose. If I have a referring source, I can put a referring source percentage in there, or I can simply take it out. Either way I choose. Here is the information that's coming in from my case management system. These are the liens and the letters of protection. I do not have to go in here and do anything. They're already here. So when I'm ready, I tell it to calculate it. It's calculated the amount the attorney is going to receive, what's due to my client. And when I tell it to print, I'm going to get a settlement statement. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can take a look. Just that quick, I was able to go in and create a settlement statement because I'm sharing data between programs from one database. Now, that makes our lives a little bit easier, but now I need to interact with my financials program, and I need to generate those trust checks. Instead of me having to print out that form, walk it over to my accounting department, I can do it right from here by simply clicking Generate Trust Checks. It's going to tell me it's going to generate it. I'm going to get a message right behind it telling me I have insufficient trust funds. At this point, I can stop and say no, go to my bookkeeper and let them know that I need the deposits entered. In this particular instance, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. It tells me that my settlement is completed, grays everything out. So now I go over to my accounting program, I go into my check writer, and here are my checks. The check to the client for their portion, to each one of my lien holders, and then to the firm for my costs and the firm for my fees. That quick, that easy. This is the type of efficiency and productivity you will gain with going into a single solution, one database. Okay? Another option that you have with your single solution databases or all-in-ones is calendaring. We all use, some of us use Outlook, most of us have smartphones, and we need to stay connected to work at all times. Well, instead of me having to use Outlook on my phone, I could use the Perfect Practice mobile app if I so chose, which also talks to my database. But my calendar should also talk to my database. So if I'm in my calendar and I put an appointment in, and I've got my paralegal or someone else working in the case management system, I should be able to see that same appointment there without having to open another program. I'll demonstrate how that works. I'm going to come in and put an appointment in. I'm going to assign it to a case file. I'm going to give it a specific appointment code. Now, in this particular example, I'll demonstrate automated workflow at the same time. So not only are we demonstrating the fact that I can put an appointment in and see it in another program, but it's also going to generate some workflow items for me as well. So I'll go ahead and save that. And now I've got my workflow. These are the to-dos that are presented to me. I accept all of that. And if I were to go into the case management system and go to my activities appointments, we'll switch this around a little bit here. You'll see that here's the appointment that I just put in. I didn't have to go to two programs. I did it all in one, and I'm sharing the same data because it's the same database. Now I can take it a step further, and I can synchronize my database for my appointments and my to-dos or tasks, ticklers, whichever you prefer to call them. I can interface that information with Outlook, and then I have a bidirectional synchronization. So now I've introduced an outside party, Outlook, to discuss things or share data with my database. Again, one database I'm coming into and one database I'm coming out of. Now you can take that further and you can integrate your emails as well from Outlook into your case management system. Now, all of the features that I talked about today are available in the Perfect Practice system. If you're not using Perfect Practice, or if Perfect Practice is not the software for you, these are things that you should be looking for in your next practice management system. An all-in-one solution is going to benefit you more than having scattered pieces and parts everywhere. One last thing I'm going to show you real quick before I start taking questions is the payroll. A lot of us do outsource our payroll. Some of us keep it in-house. For those of you using Perfect Practice, you can keep it in-house. And again, it shares one database. That does not mean that your users would be able to get to your payroll data or be able to run payroll reports. It's all secured by the user's login and security settings. But it does give you the ability to still keep it all in one database, meaning one database to back up, one database that my IT or my programmers or those that are going to be writing my reports have to learn and get familiar with. For the end users that don't know anything about the database and how it's all construed, for them, it's just one program that they're having to learn instead of having to learn multiple programs. So in the end, you do save time and money. Your employees are happier, and so are you in the end. All right, so that being said, I'm going to open the floor to questions. Any question that you may have, whether it be related to Perfect Practice or whether it be related to just an all-in-one solution. How would you go about finding them? Whatever you've got there, be more than happy to answer your questions. I would like to ask you guys a quick question here. One of the questions I've got would be, who's interested in, getting a personalized demonstration from Perfect Practice regarding an all-in-one solution? I've got a question here from Julie. Does accounting information download or sync with QuickBooks? Not very easily, to be honest. QuickBooks is a proprietary software. They do have a way to export and import data, but then again, we're going back to that whole two separate databases. We do have clients that are using QuickBooks, and we do have custom exports for that, but it's not a sync, if you will. Do we have any other questions? All right, pricing. Julie, how many users would it be for? Because we do our pricing by concurrent user. If you like, I can call you after and discuss pricing. Okay, Julie, I'll be more than happy to give you a call after the demonstration and talk to you about the pricing of the system. All right, well, that will conclude today's webinar. I will leave the meeting open for a little while longer for anyone who has any questions. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to learn a little bit about an all-in-one solution.